Real estate interview questions very rarely involve just a yes or no answer, and there are a few of these open ended questions that I found to be very commonly asked that can sometimes make or break an entire interview. For some reason, these are questions that people don't always end up preparing for as much as they should, and often end up answering in ways that hurt their chances of landing a job rather than help. So, whether you're just starting the application process or you're preparing for an interview that you already have lined up, in this video, I want to cover three of the most common and difficult to answer open ended commercial real estate interview questions and how I'd recommend approaching each to stand out from your competition and land the kind of jobs you're looking for. So, the first question on this list that's especially relevant to people switching industries or people with less than about 18 months of experience in commercial real estate is, why are you looking to leave your current job, or why did you leave your last job? This question is intended to identify what went wrong in your last role and what you might find challenging about the job that you're currently applying for, given the day-to-day responsibilities and the individuals that you will be working with. For candidates that left their last job on bad terms or quit due to frustration about the company's operations or even how they were treated personally, the knee-jerk reaction from job candidates is often to speak negatively about their experience, talking about all the things they didn't like about the role, excuses for why they couldn't succeed in that environment, or sometimes even complaining about the people within the company that they believe held back their growth. But the way that you answer this question is really important, since this is often interpreted as your willingness to take personal accountability for your own career success if the company were to hire you, and also how you might talk about the firm both during your tenure and after you've decided to move on. Even if you did have a bad experience and it's hard to focus on the positives, in an interview setting, make sure you're being as complimentary as possible of the good things about your last position, the benefits of the job, and most importantly, the things you learned from the people that you worked with, especially those in senior leadership roles. And on top of discussing your past experience, I would also answer this question by talking through what you're excited to move towards, specifically what you want to be doing more of in your next job on a day-to-day basis, and what you're looking for as far as mission, vision, and or values are concerned from the next company that you work for. For example, if you're looking to transition into acquisitions from asset management, your answer to this question could focus on your goal to move into more of a transaction-focused role, talking through your asset management experience as a valuable way to see the operations of properties in a portfolio over time, and how you're excited to use that experience to help guide your underwriting assumptions in an acquisitions role in the future. And if you're trying to move from a role in lending where you worked on multiple different asset classes to a role on the equity side of the business focusing on one specific property type, your answer to this question could revolve around how you were able to use that exposure to narrow down the specific product type that you want to dedicate your career to going forward, and how you plan to use that lending experience to help the next company you work for negotiate better loan terms. Focus on what you're moving towards, and even if it feels difficult to do, try not to speak poorly about the companies you've worked for or the people that you've worked with, since commercial real estate is a very small world, and it's not unlikely that any negative comments that you make about your former employers will not only reflect poorly on you, but will also get back to them at some point in the future. Now, the next question on this list that tends to trip people up, and that's often asked during commercial real estate interviews, is, why are you interested in this specific position? For analyst and associate roles, the goal should be to answer this question in a way that makes it clear that the actual job function that you're applying for fits your personality and what you want to be doing in your career on a day-to-day basis for the foreseeable future, and sends the message that you're interested in the job for the sake of the job itself, rather than just checking the box and immediately looking for promotions at other companies or learning what you need to learn to go out on your own and start your own company as quickly as possible. Even if you do have entrepreneurial long-term goals, the company that's considering hiring you does not want to hear that you plan to become their competition in the very near future, and they're going to make their decision based on who represents themselves as the best fit for the immediate need that they have at their company. And for these types of roles, representing yourself as the best fit often means talking through your interest in things like investment analysis, Excel, and your desire to learn from experienced professionals ahead of you to become a better acquisitions professional, asset manager, broker, or loan originator when the time does come for you to take the next step. This also often means talking about your interest or belief in the specific industry discipline you'll be working in, whether that's a passion for operations that led you to asset management, a background in construction or architecture that led you to project management or development, or a background in sales that makes you excited about building a career in brokerage long term. Paint a very clear picture that you're not a short-term solution. The job is a natural fit for you based on your skills and interests and a logical next step for your career, and you're willing to spend a few years learning the ropes for more senior members of the company, and you'll tend to see much more traction during the interview process. And then finally, one of the most commonly asked questions in commercial real estate interviews that often comes up for people with either internship or full-time real estate experience already is, tell me about your deal experience. This could be a tricky one since for most people with less than about 2 years of experience, the overall transaction volume that they've worked on isn't going to be a huge number, or they haven't had a significant amount of involvement in the transactions that they've worked on. And because of this, there are two different directions that I recommend taking your answer to this question, depending on which of those two categories describes you best. If you have experience working at a high volume shop with a company doing 15 to 30 deals a year or more, the best way to answer this question is usually going to be with a high level overview of your deal experience, specifically the total transaction volume that you've worked on, whether that's in dollars, units, or total square footage, and also talking through some of the brand name firms you negotiated with or partnered with, or the markets and product types you have experience working in. And if your experience happens to be at a company doing significantly less deal volume, the best way to answer this question for you is usually going to be by highlighting just a small handful of deals you've worked on individually, talking through your involvement in each, including any challenges that might have come up, how you overcame those challenges, and the specific role you played to get each deal across the finish line. And if you don't have any direct transaction experience at all, and you worked in parts of the industry like asset management, portfolio management, or even loan servicing, you can be honest about the lack of transaction experience that you have, but then shift the focus to metrics like the number of deals that were added to your portfolio during your last job, how you helped with the takeover of each asset that was acquired by the company, or how you helped with the disposition process when properties in the portfolio were ultimately sold. By asking this question, a potential employer is trying to get an understanding of how familiar you are with the transaction process itself, how you can respond to different scenarios that tend to come up during due diligence or closing, and what type of role you'd be able to play immediately if they ended up hiring you for the open position. If you can head into an interview with answers to these three questions, focusing on what you're moving towards, the specific job responsibilities that make the role the right fit for you, and your hands-on experience that shows your understanding of the transaction process overall, this will give you a huge advantage over your peers who haven't thought these things through. And if you want more help with interview prep, including building the skills you'll need to pass an Excel exam that might be given to you during the process, as always, make sure to check out our all-in-one membership training platform, Breaking into CRE Academy. A membership to the Academy will give you instant access to over 120 hours of video training on real estate financial modeling and analysis. You'll get access to hundreds of practice Excel interview exam questions, sample acquisition case studies, and you'll also get access to the Breaking into CRE Analyst Certification exam, which covers topics like real estate pro forma and development modeling, commercial real estate lease modeling, equity waterfall modeling, and many other real estate financial analysis concepts that will help you prove to employers that you have what it takes to tackle the responsibilities of an analyst or associate at a top real estate firm. And if you like this video and want to see more content on this channel on commercial real estate interviews, make sure to hit the like button to let me know, and let me know in the comments any other open-ended interview questions that you've been asked during the interview process that might have caught you off guard or you weren't prepared for. As always, thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you found this helpful. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already to see more videos like this every single week, and I'll see you in the next video.